I'm JFK Vic Pinion, U.S. Navy retired, telling some stories of my naval career. This one is my early, after I reported aboard the USS John F. Kennedy, CV67, as a catapult rescue and maintenance officer. I've told some early stuff already, but this is during that Palm period before the ship deployed on a deployment, a 7.5 month deployment. I had walked through and inspected the machinery, and I had inspected the preventive maintenance schedule, and I had inventoried repair parts that we had on hand or that were on board, and I discovered a shortage of arresting gear anchor socket torque release couplings, and they were due for inspection now, but there were 0 on board. B2 Division didn't have any in our storeroom. Rescue gear didn't have any, and the supply department didn't have any on board. The ship already had them on order. The supply department had them on order. B2 Division had them on order. But I got a status check on those documents, and the status was back order on every document. There were 32 on order. There was a total of 8 of them installed aboard the ship. So why were there 32 on order? Well, B2 Division had some on order because we had to inspect them, and it was common to find some of them cracked and have to be replaced. And the supply department had them on order. So the last time B2 had drawn some, it had ordered more. The last couple of times it had drawn some, it had ordered more. Well, and then the supply department had ordered more. So there was 32 of them on order. But the status of every document is back order. So I took those document numbers over to Come Never Land, and I got with the people in the aviation boatswain people, catapult and rescue support people over on the admiral staff in Come Never Land. And the SI officer sent those documents up to the Air Land Supply Department, and while I waited with him in his office, and we talked about the job, the ship, the people, and he was praising the people on board and what a squared away ship was. And I said, man, thank God I've finally got a squared away ship. It's squared away when I first report aboard. Great. This is going to be a good tour of duty. In about a half hour, the status on those documents came back. They'd done the same status check the ship had done, back order. I said, well, that's not good enough. I can't install a back ordered document to replace a broken part. I need some more help. So he looks at me and said, what do you want me to do? Call Brazo for you? I said, I want you to do whatever is necessary to get me some of those torque release couplings. We call them swivel anchors, as a slang term. Meanwhile, a civilian tech rep on his staff, Mr. I won't say his name, but he was a senior tech rep. He had called around to the other ships, and one of the other carriers that used that same model torque release coupling that I did was in the yards. They had one spare, and that maintenance officer, I think his name was Rich Pitt. I'm not sure on that, but he agreed to loan me his spare, and great, I got that. And we went to sea. Preventive maintenance inspection called for inspecting both torque release couplings on each engine as at the same time. So I'm delaying that. Well, when I had talked, the SI officer had called Brazo and got a hold of the senior person in Brazo, a woman, I won't say her name, but I talked with her, and she said, there are no more of those on the planet. We have a contract out to have some more made, and we're due to get some 50 of them or something like that in 30 days. And I'll just have those delivered straight to the Kennedy. You should be getting them within 30 days. Okay, I can defer that maintenance job for that long. Well, 30 days came and went, and we were at sea and operating, and I don't have those sockets yet. We did the inspection on engine 1 and discovered that both of those torque release couplings were cracked and need to be replaced. So we put the one spare we had on there, and I'd also already done some research on what it would take to repair that cracked coupling. There was nothing in the tech pubs about repairing it, but I broke out the blueprint for manufacturing in Ewan, and I talked with the engineering department people, and they could grind out that crack and weld it, but the ship didn't have the capability for x-raying it that the blueprint required. So I sent a message to Cumbernauld Land and to Naval Air Engineering Center requesting advice and authority to do a dye-penetrant inspection of it instead of the x-ray, which we didn't have the capability, and then using it. Well, the reply came back as permission granted in that way, and it seemed to me that they didn't like me sending that message instead of just doing it, you know. Anyway, so that's what we did. We still haven't received any spares. Cumbernauld Land and the Naval Air Engineering Center had got on the horn, and they had found a bunch of spares, and they were on their way to me. Then I did the same inspection on engine 2, found both of theirs cracked. Now, here again, it's a one-time thing, another message. Still do not have the repair parts. Both the ones on engine 2 are cracked. Please help. Well, that night, we started receiving torque release couplings by helicopter from I don't know where. But we received a bunch of them, more than we would need for the next couple of years. They were in the world. It's just that somewhere they were being hoarded. But that they got found, and we got a bunch of them. And so we finished up with that inspection. My comment at the end of this little story, which I've had for a bunch of other ones, is the squeaky wheel gets the grease. I had squeaked about this job, and man, did we get lots of grease for it. We got lots of torque release couplings. Okay, end of the story. Y'all carry on.